Greetings, Magic Brick Warriors. Hooper Kratos here. I'm going to give you my thoughts on uh, the latest patch 1.0.49 from the release notes. First off, they have added a lot more ads. You can upgrade chests with ads. You can refresh daily deals with ads. The free items in the store now require ads to be watched in order to claim them. Basically, start watching lots of ads. If you want to get extra stuff, watch lots of ads. Upgrade chests, unlock chests, etc. Ads. Uh, the biggest changes in this patch are what they've done to the mana brick and mana brick stuff. If you remember, in patch 1.0.45, they introduced this comeback mechanic in the game using mana bricks, where you get different amounts depending on how far behind you are. Now they've decided that when you are in the lead, you no longer generate mana from your mana bricks. If you're tied, you each get 1 mana. If you are in the lead, you get 0 mana from your mana bricks, and your opponent will get the bonus mana from being behind. Along with this, they've changed the summon magic brick a little bit. They fixed the bug, but they've also made it so that it now spawns a mana brick in a position randomly around the magic brick being summoned. This is insane. You can now spawn mana brick after mana brick after mana brick. I mean, I have played games where I've had 4, 5, 6 mana bricks all at once, and that is not unusual. The mana brick can replace a brick, even a magic brick. This is just something to keep in mind of where you place your summon magic brick, that you might end up losing a magic brick in an adjacent square if the mana brick randomly gets placed over it. The shield block. You may remember just a few days ago, shield brick was the meta. If you didn't have a shield brick, you were pretty much going to lose to anybody who did have a shield brick. And the entire game was depending on who got the shield brick first. If you got the shield brick first, chances are you are going to have a massive advantage. So what they've done is they've reduced the radius from a 3x3 square to a 1x1. In other words, you have to pass through the shield brick to get a shield. This is just like the Zippy Brick. And that means the shield brick is probably just like the Zippy Brick in how often people will play it. This is, the Zippy Brick has always been good. You just have to use it correctly, and you have to be the style of player who knows how to use it well. That's just basically the entirety of the way it is with the Zippy Brick, and so that's how it is now with the shield brick. The shield brick's going to be best for, I think, tanky units and fast units, just like the Zippy Brick. And so you have to decide if this is something you want to work into your deck. But unlike a few days ago, the shield brick is no longer a must-have in your deck. It's an option you can choose. Speaking of shields, we've got the Angel. Not only will the Angel heal targets within range, it will shield targets within range. If there's no target in range that has lost any health, it will slap a shield on a random target. And this is nice because one of the downsides of the Angel is you really couldn't play it until a unit had already taken damage. It would kind of be a waste of an Angel to drop it too soon. People could kill it before it had a chance to heal anything, and you lost 3 mana, basically. Now it does do something even before there's a damaged unit. So you can play like a dragon or a mummy or a Viking or some other unit that you want to have healed or shielded. You can drop it and then drop the Angel immediately afterwards. When the Angel heals a target, it will remove all negative debuffs from that unit. Again, this is very valuable because one of the weaknesses of, say, like the Viking is that it's really slow, and if it hits a poison field, it's going to go even slower. The Angel will remove those debuffs, so it will unslow your Viking. And the poison, I'm told, applies its slow upon entering, and it does not apply at any other time. So it just applies the slow once. So when the angel does the first heal on a unit in a poison field, for instance, then that unit will be sped back up again. Very valuable, uh, you know, addition there. The cold snap. Uh, the cold snap they nerfed really hard and down to just a few seconds. And what everyone has been saying is it's useless, and they need to increase the time just another 1 or 2 or 3 seconds. And instead of doing that, they made it so the cold snap now damages bricks. And along with that, I believe it now costs 2 mana. So this is I personally think the cold snap is now a must-have in your deck. It can wipe out um, three columns of bricks almost instantly. It just moves so much faster than the spiked roller. Yes, it cannot kill a unit though. That's the downside. There is no unit that the cold snap can kill. It does throw on a little bit of extra damage, which might be useful, but for the most part, you just put in your deck to destroy bricks. If you had a fireball in your deck just to destroy bricks, replace it with a cold snap. You'll be glad you did. Mr. Goo. Mr. Goo now damages mummies with the on death poison. This now makes Mr. Goo probably a viable card to play. I actually was starting to lean towards Mr. Goo being viable anyway. Now he definitely is, because now he damages the mummy. Now he is actually a really good counter to tanks. This is one of the best ways of using Mr. Goo. You hold on to him in your hand until you have a unit you are trying to kill with Mr. Goo. And then you play Mr. Goo in front of that unit, allow it to drop its poison, and it can kill it can kill almost any unit in the game, just not the tanks, but it gets pretty close. The Wizard. The Wizard has had lots of issues. This has to do with, I believe it's a bug in how it works, something to do with the animation of its attack. And this has made it very hard for the developers to tweak it properly. Everyone's been saying it needs to do a little bit more damage to be usable, but the thing is, if they increase the damage, it can have weird effects in that it can do way more damage than intended and all this kind of stuff. So they decided instead to make each lightning attack slightly lower the target's movement speed. This is a cumulative effect. So each attack from the Wizard will slow down a unit that much more. And when a unit is on top of a poison field, they can be slowed almost to a standstill. It's pretty incredible to watch. This is especially key because the Wizard has a high attack speed. It's not as high as it says in its stats in the game because it's bugged, but it does have a pretty high attack speed, and each attack it adds a little bit more slow. That is an incredible, powerful ability, and it's countered by the Angel, which does all this debuffing. And so now I believe this makes the Wizard a viable unit to play as well, where it's kind of not really so much before. And one of the keys though is you need to play the Wizard far enough back, use its full range, and also try to use its chaining ability. So you try and play the Wizard in front of a tank unit, something with a lot of health, and so then it just keeps continuously attacking that, and then the attacks get chained to other units, and they all end up getting slower and slower and slower and slower. The Zappy Brick does the same thing. So this means that now you can create an entire strategy around slowing down your opponent. You can use the Zappy Brick, the Wizard, Mr. Goo, the Poison Field, things that freeze, like the Freeze Brick, the Cold Snap, and you can make it so that your opponent's units just don't really move very fast. This is an interesting concept for a strategy. The Smoke Bomb. The Smoke Bomb has been a nearly useless card. It's got, there's all sorts of creative ways you can use it. I am still coming up with new ways of using it that I hadn't thought of before. I'm seeing other players do things I never thought of. So there's lots of ways you can use it. The problem is almost no one has felt like it's worth putting in your deck, and it's not worth the 1 mana or the spot in your deck. So they're trying to tweak it. and the way they're tweaking it is by giving it a little bit of damage. It does at max it does 88 damage per second, which actually, if a unit spends the entire 15 seconds of the max level smoke bomb, if the unit spends all that 15 seconds inside the smoke field, uh, I think it gets around 1,300 total damage. So that's nothing to sneeze at. The problem is most units will not spend that much time in the smoke. So you have to use, if you're trying to use it to do damage, then you need to put it on slow units, or you need to do something to slow a unit down. You know, say you're trying to kill a mummy, you place the smoke bomb on the mummy and you drop a Viking in front, or a mummy or a dragon in front of the mummy, and the smoke bomb will do damage over time, which will allow you to win that battle. You know, and then of course it's got all of its other many uses that the smoke bomb has. So you might find it worthwhile to put in your deck. Maybe, maybe not. And one use of the smoke bomb that I thought of is for taking shields off of units. It's a cheap way to strip shields. So if you find someone is using the angel or the shield brick, then you could use the smoke bomb against them, and it's a cheap way of getting rid of shields. Closing thoughts. What are my closing thoughts on patch 1.0.49? For instance, what's the state of the meta? What's good? What's not? You know, out of all these considerations, basically the long and the short of it is Magic Brick Wars is now Mana Brick Wars. It is entirely about the mana bricks. There is, you know, right now the comeback mechanic is so powerful that it's almost better. It's almost better to actually lose the first heart and then use the comeback mechanic to swarm your opponent with lots of units that they cannot respond to. I have definitely lost games in events that way. I haven't yet lost a game in the arena, but you know, I have used the comeback mechanic to defeat people. I mean, like, I have had one heart left and I haven't even taken a single heart, but I'm so far down and I have so many mana bricks out there that I'm able to win the battle just because of the comeback mechanic. It is extremely powerful. And this means that I think you need to absolutely play with the Cold Snap and the Summon Magic Brick. The Summon Magic Brick, you just keep dropping that, you know, fill in gaps in your defensive lines, you know, drop it in front of a unit just as it's about to get there, hope you get something good. But the point is less about the Magic Brick and more about the Mana Brick. If you have got 4 or 5 mana bricks out there, your opponent's going to have a hard time destroying them all. And so as a result, what you can, it's almost like an insurance policy. If they take a heart, then all of a sudden you turn around and crank out a bunch of units, and there's nothing they can do about it. So as a result, because of the Summon Magic Brick, you need to play with the Cold Snap. The Cold Snap can wipe out 3 columns worth of bricks for only 2 mana, and it does it really fast. And I have found that using the Cold Snap, it's pretty easy to destroy someone's mana brick before it spawns or generates any mana. Makes it very useful, a very helpful card to have in your deck. And so you end up, even more than before, this game is about placing your mana bricks, protecting your mana bricks, getting extra mana bricks, and then destroying your opponent's mana bricks as fast as possible. You never want to get behind in the mana brick count, because if you do, and then you actually start winning, then in the end you will probably lose. I have never seen anything like this before, that basically if you are winning, very often you can lose unless you're careful with your mana bricks. So play with the Cold Snap, Summon Magic Brick, and have fun playing Mana Brick Wars.